Hi everyone, we're going to just give it a couple of minutes just to see if we get some more people join, and then we'll get started. Just give it one more minute and then we'll kick off. Okay, well, thanks for joining everyone. This will be recorded, so we'll send out the recording afterwards to those that would like to watch it, and you can also pass that around to other people. So thanks for joining. This is our first webinar on making the most of Microsoft 365. We're going to particularly be looking at Business Premium, security within Business Premium, the apps within Business Premium, a bit of Copilot as well, and probably one of the highlights where Martin's going to do a demo of Power Apps just to give everyone an idea of what Power Automate and Power Apps can do within 365. It's such a powerful tool and it's part of Business Premium, so it's definitely worth looking at. And yeah, we'll kick off. Over to you, Ellie.
Oh, thank you very much. So yeah, welcome guys to our next webinar. I'm Ellie, one of the account managers here at Keybridge. Hopefully most of you have spoken with me before. And if you're mega lucky, met me in person, or unlucky, I guess, depending on how you see it. So I want to ensure that you're all making the most of your 365 subscriptions, and what better way to do so than a webinar brought to you by myself, Martin, and our amazing MD, Andy. So today's agenda, we're going to start with an introduction to Microsoft 365, outlining its key features and benefits. We'll then dive into the core applications and demonstrate some of the Power Apps, which will be done by Martin, and we'll focus on how each of those can boost productivity. If there's time at the end, we'll also run through Q&A. You should all also be able to see that Q&A question box. So as we're going through the webinar, if you've got any questions, you can pop them in. If we've got time at the end, we'll answer them. If not, we can always come back to you directly on those. Following on from that as well, we'll also be exploring the enhanced productivity tools, features and security measures as well that Microsoft 365 provides. And I will also be giving you some quick tips on Copilot and the uses. But again, the main focus today is just making the most of the subscriptions that you guys have already got.
So we're a Microsoft Solutions partner. We've been a partner of Microsoft for 15 years now. Recently, the Gold Partnership moved over to what's called the Solutions Partnership. We have particularly good areas within modern workplace, infrastructure, and security. So we have first access to everything new that comes from Microsoft. So we can definitely be trusted in to give you up-to-date information on a regular basis.
Cool, thank you very much, Andy. So Microsoft 365 Business Premium provides a robust suite of productivity apps and powerful cloud services with comprehensive security to help protect your business from cyber threats. It's designed for small and medium-sized business up to about 300 users. So hopefully by now, most of you have upgraded to Business Premium and you can understand the differences between Premium and Standard. When we're taking on new customers, we do ensure that they have Business Premium now as Standard. That's just due to the enhanced security and additional features, which obviously we'll be kind of discussing a little bit more in detail. So with Business Premium, you get access to all of the Office apps, always the up-to-date versions, so obviously Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, email and calendaring. Oh dear, that wasn't good. Your enterprise grade through email Outlook with a 50 gigabyte mailbox per user. You also get 1 terabyte of cloud storage per user for editing and sharing documents, photos, and other files. There's also a lot of collaboration tools, and obviously, again, that big word, the enhanced security tools, which Andy will be taking you through now.
And if you're talking, you're on mute.
Thank you, Martin. Before we unleash Martin onto you with the 365 apps and the Power App demo, I'm going to run through some security. So bear with me. This is stuff that you won't necessarily want to know all the detail around, but I just want to make people aware of what you get with Business Premium, why you should do certain things with Business Premium. And then there's a little bit on a thing called session token theft, which we've seen a rise in, and I just think it's important to share this with you. And then once I'm done, you'll then have the pleasure of Martin and Ellie going through some more exciting and fun stuff. So first of all, security within Business Premium. So I'm going to touch on the main core areas that you get within the product. Then I'm going to look at why you should enroll your company devices and your staff's personal devices, and then why you should enroll your company laptops, and then a little bit on session token theft, and then a bit about what's called Entra ID Plan 2 at the end. So just to begin with, there's a lot of areas that we'll cover, but I'm just going to really touch on these very briefly. So within Business Premium, you get a product called Defender for Business. Now, as a business, we give you Bitdefender Gravity Zone, or we give you Sentinel-1, but I wanted to just make it clear that you also get Microsoft's product on top of that, which works as a really good backup to what we already provide and what we already monitor. Next is Intune. Intune is an extremely powerful mobile device management product. Again, this comes with Business Premium. We really, really recommend, if you're not doing it, enrolling your Windows devices, enrolling your Macs, and enrolling your mobiles, whether it's staff or business. And I'll come on to why in a minute. Conditional access and MFA. I'm sure everyone knows what MFA is by now, but conditional access is how you can control this centrally. You can stop your users from accessing apps you don't want them to use. You can lock down certain countries. You can lock down, they have to be able to access it from certain machines that are compliant. Then we got a thing called data loss prevention. So data loss prevention, again, this gets overlooked a lot by many of our customers. If you're dealing with sensitive information, particularly if you're recruitment, you're dealing with candidates' bank details. If you're worried that your staff might send these out of the business by accident or maliciously, you can control what gets sent out of the business. So you can get 365 to pick up national insurance numbers, bank details, credit card numbers, and block that and alert you to what's being sent out of the business. And then information protection and sensitivity labels. Again, this is often overlooked by businesses. Again, this is all part of your package already. You can control what's sent out of the business. So when you're sending a proposal to a customer, you can be safe in the knowledge that a document you sent out, your customer can't print it, they can't copy and paste it. You can also set an expiry date on it as well. So if you send out a proposal via a link, you can set an expiry date so that in a month's time, even if they forwarded that to 50 people, that link no longer works. So there's some really good control there about what you can send out of the business. And again, if you need help with this, please just get in touch. Next one, or last one actually, is a product called Purview. This is a compliance tool within 365, again, overlooked by most customers. This is what we use when we're doing things like subject access requests for customers. Really, really powerful, can do extremely thorough e-discovery searches. Again, be great to show you more at some point in the future. Next, why you should enroll mobile devices, particularly personal. Always enroll work devices, but some companies won't enroll their users' devices because they think that it's potentially a breach of their privacy. But there's so many benefits to doing this. If you do enroll a personal device, Microsoft doesn't have access to any of the personal data, any of the apps, anything other than things like the serial number of the phone. But the benefits are, first of all, you can see on the screenshot. So we enroll our devices, we push out all of our work apps. So we push out ConnectWise, we push out WebEx, and we push out the work versions of all of the Microsoft apps. What does this mean? It means that your staff are using the same software. They're not using email for iPhone or Android. They're using the Outlook app. And the best thing about it is if the member of staff leaves or if they lose their mobile phone, when this is wiped, it's gone immediately. If you don't do this, if someone leaves, they've still got cached emails, they've still got cached contacts. If it's stolen, people might have access to your company data, whereas we can wipe the business portion of this immediately. You can also push out updates to company apps. You can also push out new company apps, and you can also enforce security on the phone. So you need a PIN number to access Outlook. You need a PIN number to access your phone. The phone must be up to date with antivirus. The phone must have encryption. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why you should enroll staff and personal phones. Next, Intune and Autopilot. So Autopilot, again, comes with Business Premium, comes with Intune. Really, really good for sending out laptops to remote destinations. You don't want your new member of staff to have to run through the Windows installation. All they have to do is put in their location, their keyboard, and it will say, welcome to Keybridge IT or welcome to company name, and they just log on. When they log on, all the apps download. You could set company backgrounds, you can set printers, you can set Wi-Fi, you can just set all your policies through Intune. You don't need servers anymore. Just it makes the whole user experience seamless. From a security standpoint, it will force encryption. So again, if the laptop's stolen, it's encrypted, it's useless to anyone that steals it. You can remote wipe it if it's stolen. You can push out obviously any apps, any settings. It's the perfect way to run the business from a user's point of view because it's a seamless experience. It's fantastic. So that's just basically a very brief look at Intune and why you would enroll your Windows devices, Mac devices, and your phones. Next thing I wanted to just touch on. So this is something that's kind of come about over the last few months, and we've seen quite a rise in this. Session token theft. So what does it mean? At the moment, we have baselines set for most of our customers where we make sure that your conditional access policies and your security is at the best level it needs to be to prevent breaches, to prevent people hacking in, to prevent your users being caught out. Even with the best conditional access, the MFA, and all the policies that we can set up, sophisticated hackers are now able to steal what they call a session token, which means if a member of staff clicks on their email that's somehow got through the email spam filter, and then they've got ponned into signing into a fake website, even though they've not had to put in their MFA code, the hacker steals the token that tells Microsoft that they've already passed the MFA. That hacker then logs in as that member of staff and then can send emails, can access emails, and obviously can cause havoc. So we want to try and prevent this as much as possible. How can we do that? Well, tighten up conditional access even more. So add more controls on what countries your staff can log on from, what apps your staff can use, what conditions need to be met before they can log on. So the device has to be enrolled, has to have antivirus, has to be encrypted, all manner of things we can do, but it doesn't necessarily stop that hacker stealing the session token, because if you've blocked Russia, if they've used a VPN to pretend to be in London, that's not going to stop it. We have risky sign-ins, which we monitor as a business, but sometimes those alerts might take an hour or two to come through. So the only way to really, really be 100% sure, unfortunately for everybody, including us, is Microsoft have a new license which costs on a per user basis. But this license called Entra ID Plan 2 does a thing called token binding. So every time you log on, the token is linked to that particular device. Microsoft being Microsoft, don't give it away for free, unfortunately. It also has risky sign-in automation, which means if it thinks there's any danger that this is not a valid logon, it'll immediately block that. Again, we can't do that without this Entra ID Plan 2 license. I'm not trying to sell you the license, but I just want to make you aware that this new license is available, and it can just give you that little bit of peace of mind that despite everything we've already done, there's now extra steps in place to prevent things such as session token theft. And then lastly, for me, before you get the more interesting stuff from Martin and Ellie, the Entra ID Plan 2, as I say, does do a number of things. Also has a thing called litigation hold. If you're ever worried about staff leaving, as soon as they hand in their notice, you can turn this feature on and it will then monitor emails they're sending. They could be sending company information to themselves. This stops them double deleting those sorts of emails, just makes it easier to track. Also has the real-time risky sign-in protection, and it has the session token theft prevention as well. And last but not least, there's a new license called E5 Security. E5 Security is a bundle that you can now add on to Business Premium. Comes with a number of other features as well as the ones I've already mentioned. But as we're running out of time, I won't go into too much detail on this right now. But if you do want to learn more about E5 or Entra ID Plan 2, or anything I've just gone through, please don't hesitate to get in touch. But for now, I will hand over to Martin, who will go through, as I say, slightly more fun stuff, looking at all the apps within 365, and then giving you a really good demo of Power Apps and Power Automate.
Thank you, Andy. I'm not sure it's fun stuff, but well, it is for me. So
it is compared with my one.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about, I mean, briefly just talk about Office, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a demo on Power Automate and lists, Microsoft lists. So basically what we find is that there is there's a huge amount of applications that you get. I'm going to cover the kind of most common ones I think are most useful, but there's little bits and pieces, and I add them all the time, that can do various bits and pieces. Most people don't know that they've got it, and you pay for it with your license, so it's worth being aware of it. And I think a lot of these can join up together quite well as well. They are enhanced by Copilot, and Ellie's going to talk a bit about Copilot, but that really helps join them together. So I'm going to talk about some of these applications. I'll go through kind of and just talk briefly about it, and then I'm going to do a demo on lists and Power Platform. If you've got any questions at the end, then feel free to ask. But also feel free to just contact me. We can talk about individual things and help you set some of this up. And I do quite an hour-long sort of discussion of Copilot as well if you wanted to do that. So feel free to do that. Moving on to the application list. So these are the tools. I'll run through and just give you just a little my view on some of these, and then do the demo. So obviously, Office apps. We know there's the web versions of the apps, mobile versions. I think most people know that. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. I'd be surprised if most people don't use that at some point. So they're obviously very powerful, and as I say, really enhanced by Copilot. OneNote is something I find that OneNote's one of those things people either really like it or they don't use it at all. I use it extensively as almost like a stream of consciousness. I just put every note in there. It's very easy to search, and again, really good with Copilot. So if you don't use OneNote, it might be worth sort of little effort to try it out, because I find it can be really useful just for storing all odd text and pictures and weird stuff. So email and calendar, that obviously comes with it. Most people know the email. The Teams meetings and the emails, again, really enhanced by Copilot. Microsoft Teams was obviously just become hugely more popular since COVID, and we use Teams extensively. We use it because so many people work remotely, work from home, really massively useful. Obviously, I think most people know that. And OneDrive, again, for storing your sort of personal data or your personal work data, as opposed to kind of putting it on SharePoint in a formal way. SharePoint Online. So SharePoint's massive, and we've got some customers that use it for everything. They use it for a real intranet. They have applications on it, and they store files on it. But you can also just use it just to store files as almost like a shared drive. So you don't really need to use the interface. You can sync to it, and you can store a lot of data. It does a lot of things if you kind of invest effort into it. I'm going to show you some automated process with Power Automate. Microsoft Loop. So Microsoft Loop is a new thing, and it's a bit strange. And I cover it briefly in the Copilot demo, and we'll talk about it a bit more then. But Microsoft Loop is like a real-time collaboration that allows you to create, say, you can create a table or a loop component, as it calls it, and you could have that in a Microsoft Teams, or you can have it in a Word document. You can put it in various places. But what you can do with it is you can then do, if you update it, updates live for everyone else. So whereas if you're in Teams and you put an image in, obviously just an image, or you copy a spreadsheet or some text, it's just in the chat. Whereas what Loop does is allows you to interact with that, and everyone can share it. So it's that's a powerful thing, but definitely worth looking at in more detail. If you want to take that offline, give me a shout. Microsoft Bookings. So Microsoft Bookings is a very simple thing, and quite powerful, and it's kind of like does the Calendly bit, and I'll show you that when I do the demo just briefly. But what it does, it will allow you to block out some of your calendar. It's very simple to do it, and then it will allow you to kind of put that, there'll be a link at the bottom of your email that says book time with me, so people can go in and book just ad hoc meetings with you. So if you've got a day where you can clear some time in your calendar, you just put that in there, and obviously people can just book time to talk to you. So very useful thing. So that's great. Microsoft Planner, very powerful. Effectively, Planner is like a project management tool, and it allows you to have tasks that you can spread across the ecosystem and to all of your teams. That works with To Do as well. So it's very powerful. And again, you can automate that. It links to other applications, and has Copilot integrated into that as well. Microsoft List. So I'll talk about List in a second in the demo. And List is often overlooked. And what List is a kind of like an online spreadsheet, if you like. And you can indeed just create a list from a spreadsheet, and it allows you to kind of share data in that table format. It's very interactive. You can link it in using Power Automate to databases. You can put data in there, and you can have actions from it. You can have approvals, etc. It's often overlooked. So I'll show you that in a second. Clipchamp and Stream. So Clipchamp is like a video editing software, and I've put kind of it's a basic video editing software, but it's actually quite sophisticated. You could if you're budding Spielberg, you could create a nice little movie in there. And then Stream is is part of SharePoint, and it's specifically dedicated to sharing videos, and you can share videos internally. You can also share them externally. So that's, if you're into that, it's very useful stuff. So Microsoft Whiteboard, this has been around for a while, and I've hardly seen many people use it. But again, it's quite powerful, quite useful tool, and it is like it sort of says, it's a whiteboard. It's a really simple sort of drawing tool, but it allows you to add like little notes and post-it notes and stuff like that. So if you're in a Teams meeting, it integrates with that and allows you to make notes and draw pictures and all sorts of things with that. So another useful productivity tool. So Microsoft Forms is a very simple kind of way of creating forms that people can fill in. People use it a lot for surveys and quizzes and polls, but it can also be used in a process. So you could easily create a form that you want people to fill in, and they fill it in, and then it can be added to a spreadsheet, or it can be added to a SharePoint list, and that data can be put in various places, and again becomes more powerful if you use automation tools like Power Automate and Power Apps, etc. So they're the kind of main software applications that I would use and would suggest, but there is lots of other little bits and pieces, but we would be here all day talking about it. So if anyone wants to talk about anything else, we can go through that in more detail. Just give me a shout and we can get on a call, set something up for that. But there's other bits like Yammer and Viva and Microsoft Sway and Delve, and there's a few other little utilities that might be worth being aware of. So what I'm going to talk about, do a demo on is Power Platform. So Power Platform unusually is really powerful, and it does come with business premium, so you don't have to pay extra for it for most of it. So Power Automate is the sort of glue behind it, and it's an automated online system that will do various bits and pieces. It will kind of automate. I'll show you it more in detail when I do the demo, but it can move things about, it can edit things, it can run through multiple files, it can send emails, it can do approval process. So very powerful. Power Apps is the application you could create what looks like a standard application that uses things like SharePoint and uses Power Automate to automate things. And you can have it in the app in a browser or a tablet format or on a phone, and that allows you to interact with your information, your data. So Power BI, I think most people who've used Power BI have seen it. It's obviously a reporting tool. There is a free Power BI, so you can do basic stuff. But then obviously, if you really want to use it, there is a license for that. So I think the Power BI the free one is quite basic, and you quickly sort of want to get a license for that. But that is very, very powerful for dashboarding, reporting, data analyzing and mashing up data. And then Dataverse for Teams. If you think of Dataverse for Teams is like, it's a strange name, but it's like the equivalent of Access. Don't know if anyone remembers Access that used to come with the desktop version of Office, which is a basic database. But people did use it for some quite fundamental stuff in their businesses, and I think Dataverse is very similar, but it's an online version, so it allows you to create a database, create relationships, and it can pull together all that data that you've got. An AI builder, I thought I'd mention that, we won't cover that too much, but when I'm creating these automations, you can add AI to it. It does basic stuff, but again, you really need a kind of open AI license to make the most of it, to really get something out of it. But it's possible to do things like for it to automatically do summaries of multiple documents in the document library, or summarize emails that come in, things like that. You can do it automatic. So that's basically a little rundown of the applications. So as I said, some time for some questions later. So what I'll do is I'll run straight on and start my my demo. So I will now share my screen, and I will okay. All right, so what I'm going to show you, I'm going to set up, or I have set up a process. And what this process would do is it contains a shared mailbox and a document library and a SharePoint list. And it uses Power Automate to move things about and to do various bits. And what it's for is someone were to email a CV into the submission library mailbox. It will then move that. It will take the attachment, the CV, out of that email, and then put that into a document library, and then it'll put the details into a SharePoint list automatically for you, so you could sort of manage a CV submission. I recognise obviously most people would have CRMs. If you were really doing this, you would have software to do that. But I wanted to show a demo of kind of how it might work if you were using it. So this Power Automate, it's a web-based system, and it used to be called Flow, and the individual sort of processes are called Flow. So I will come back to this in a second, because I want to jump right in so I can get the process running, because it takes a few minutes to run. So so this is the flow I'm going to use that does these things. I'm going to jump in with this. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to send an email right now. So I'm going to send an email from so this is Ursula Le Guin is sending in a submission for a job. She's going to send a CV, which I omitted to put in there. So let me just grab her CV wherever it is. There it is. So she's going to attach that CV and she's going to send that in. Just a side note, that's the book time to meet with me that will come up in the emails I send that I mentioned earlier for bookings. So that's what it looks like, that will sit above your signature. If anyone wanted to book time with me, feel free to do that. So yeah, so Ursula's going to apply. She's going to send it through. It's going to go through to the CV submissions mailbox. So I'm going to send that now. And what's going to happen is going to go into the CV submissions mailbox. These are the ones I did that I did earlier. You can see it's going to come into this this mailbox, and then Power Automate is then going to put it into this document library. It will appear here at the bottom in a couple of minutes, and then it's going to add it to this list, this SharePoint list. I'll show you this very briefly in a second. And this is the Power Automate. So before I do that, I'll just show you lists in case people are not really familiar with it. So it's lists exist in SharePoint. So they're attached to a SharePoint site, and they come up like this, and they look like this. So I'll show you how to edit an item shortly, or add an item. But I like to use this application for these lists, and they're very, yeah, you can do a lot with your list. And if I just show you what the what it might look like if you want to create one. So these are the kinds of things you can do with lists. So you can have a work tracker, which if I just show you what that might look like, it comes up, it's just a to-do list really, but it'll look like this, and you've got drop downs you can do, and you can share this with multiple people in there, and you can edit and add these. But you can see from that there's a wide sort of array of different things you can do with it, and there is some people have done some amazing stuff with this, and it fits so nicely in SharePoint. It looks great, and people use these, especially if you're creating an intranet in SharePoint. This is what it's really useful for, and kind of acts as a data store. So the one that I'm sort of using for this demo today is this, which I just showed you earlier. So this is the CV submission, and you can actually see that already the process has started, because Ursula Le Guin's now in there. The details of her have come in there. So if I then flip back to, if I go back to this, I'll show you the flow and then we'll have a look at it. But this looks quite complicated at first. So this is the flow that's working in the background. And what it's doing, it sits in the background and it works continuously. And when a new email arrives in a shared mailbox, which is that CV library shared mailbox, it will take that CV and it will do these things with it. As I say, it looks complicated, but it actually, once you get kind of into it, it's kind of easy. But we can help with this, and we can sort of get you started. If you do have Copilot is great for helping you create these. In it, if you just ask it how to do it, it will tell you in quite detail how to do it. So what this is going to do, you can see it's going to wait there. It's going to write, an email's going to come in, and for each of the attachments that are in that mailbox, in those emails that come in, it's going to do this. So it's going to look, if it's a document, if it's not a document, it's going to do nothing. If it's got no attachment. If it is, it's going to, it calls it create file, but it's going to basically copy that file to the CV library, and then it's going to create, as we saw just earlier, it's going to create an item in the list, and it's going to add that attachment to that item, and then it's going to post a message into Teams for the person whoever's going to be doing this process. So to show you this CV library, you can see it should be in there. It's not showing in there, but no, it will be in there somewhere. Ursula Le Guin. So now basically what's happened, obviously the any document, any Word document sent to that email address will save it on here. And that in itself is really useful, because if you want to store things and you could then know that, well, that email address is where our CV goes or documents go, then we know we've got every single document in here. So it will do that. Then it's added it to this list, which I'll come back to, which it should do. I just refresh this. She's in there. There it is there. So I added an item to this list. And what it's also done is, let me just flip over to my Teams. It's sent me in this channel, it's sent me a team saying, well, someone submitted a CV into the library, and there it is. So I can be happily going about my day and go, oh, I've got a new CV. So then I would go in and go, okay, well, it's in the document library. There it is. I can access it from there, and I can come into this list and manage it. So I might go into this, and I'm going to edit this list. So what you can do, and if you notice I've got kind of the names, and I'm going to fill this in manually. Well, you can actually do, and that's where the AI builder comes into it. You can add steps into this Power Automate, where it goes off and says to the AI builder, okay, review this. So you can actually automate it to a high degree, so that it will then fill in a lot of this, and it can give you a summary of the CV right there. So as I say, I'd expect people to use in CRMs to do this. But if this was someone's job and you were getting hundreds of CVs every day, then this, to have it sort of instantly come up in here, summarized, and all the details added to it, could be quite useful and time saving. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here and edit this. So a name, let's just put Ursula. Spell that role. She is or was an author. So I'm doing that. Excuse my typing and spelling. I'm just going to do it. And Ursula's quite. She wants. Oh, do this properly. She wants some money, and the approver, you can, so this is very interactive, so I can put in someone in the organization and instantly find that person. And I'm going to leave that as pending for a second, but I'll show you what that does in a second. And then it's actually attached to the CV in there as well, so you can go into this and look at in there. So you've now got this in here, and you can manage this. You can do approvals in this. So, but what I'll show you is how that might work with this approval piece for pending. But this list is very, as I say, it's very interactive. You can do a lot with it. You can easily add stuff to it, and you can edit it like a spreadsheet. So if you edit it like that, it's exactly like a spreadsheet. You can add to it. What you can also do is, where it's salary here, exactly the same as a spreadsheet, you can add calculated fields to that. So if you, in this case, you might want to add 15%, how much that will be. So you could add that. So it then shows the total sort of, you can do calculations on it, basically. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how this might work. And hopefully that's given a view of how you might automate things. I'm really sort of trying to whet your appetite for it, and just give you some ideas of how you might want to use that in the future for your own activities. If you need any help for it, give me a shout. And that's basically it. So yeah, has anyone got any questions? I know that might have been a bit convoluted, so apologies if it was difficult to follow, but has anyone got any questions or anything? And feel free to email me anything you want to know.
I think we'll probably do the questions at the end, Martin, but that's brilliant. Could you do me a favor? Could you just show the templates, just to give an example of what other things you can link
the templates, yes,
with Power Automate? Like, obviously we've got Twitter or X, and you can link with so many different applications.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I missed a skip. So, so yeah, Power Automate is It's crazy. And when I said earlier, like Andy said, so Microsoft want to charge you for every little good thing that they give you. And there's always that extra little bit you've got to pay for. Power Automate, effectively, what I did there was free, or not free. It comes with Business Premium. But these are the kind of things you can do. And it doesn't just connect to the Microsoft applications. It will connect to third-party applications. It can do things like Twitter, various things that have connectors to it. And you can even create your own custom connectors through APIs, etc. But as you can see from this, you can save Google attachments, as I did earlier, send files, you can add planner tasks. You can do various documents, you can move documents around. These are the kind of top things. Forward emails to a channel, analyze email sentiment with AI, as I discussed earlier, auto schedule things. There's just so much you can do. Asana, there's so many applications. GitHub, you can connect to, you can do reminders. You can little things like you could have something if you got a really important customer, you just do your own one that tells you when you get an email from that customer. Approvals is very powerful, so that kind of list you could have that, so that if you were employed doing that, it would then go to it would then email someone based on the back of that. So yeah, very powerful. So yeah, sorry for getting that. Thank you, Andy.
No, that's brilliant. Thanks ever so much. But yeah, just to say yes, so how powerful it is, and just a very quick thing on the lists. So we use lists within Teams. So Ellie and I, for example, we use our pipeline. It's fully customizable. So we set up a list for pipeline. We manage all of our leads. We share it on Teams. Really, really powerful. But again, any help you want, just get in touch. But yeah, now back over to Ellie.
Perfect. Thank you very much again for that, Martin. Obviously, I'm very conscious that we're running out of time. So I just want to show you something really briefly just on Copilot. Obviously, we've done a previous webinar on Copilot. I still do have the recording for that. So if there's anyone that wasn't able to join that before, obviously just pop me over an email and I can get that webinar link sent over. On another note as well, obviously, we're looking at doing quite a few frequent webinars throughout the year. So if there's any kind of feedback that you guys have got or anything you'd like us to kind of present on, it'd be really good if you could let us know what that is, and we can obviously look into doing so. So I just want to go for a little bit on Copilot. Going to skip forward. Sorry about this. Okay, cool. So, yeah, just want to go through a little bit on Copilot. No Keybridge webinar would be complete without mentioning some sort of AI. And again, the AI tool that we use and we want you guys to use is going to be Copilot. So with most businesses adopting AI at the moment, those that aren't using the AI tools are seen as lagging behind. And what better AI tool to use than one that seamlessly integrates with all your 365 apps. So Copilot can do so many things. Obviously, some of you guys have got it. And Copilot can basically, what I want to show you today is how it can help you prepare for your day, catch up on long email threads, recap Teams meetings, and keep you informed on emails and files that have been sent. So I just want to share a quick video with you guys that can basically show you how to make processes nearly 4 times faster. So the particular video that I'm going to show is basically someone that's joined a meeting late, but basically showing how quickly you can kind of catch up on what's already been said and things like that, documents that have been shared. So I'm just going to share my screen with you guys. Just bring this one up.
Very then reached out questions. Yeah, and then at the end of it, she sent me a full Excel sheet.
All right, day 1 on the job, and man, there's a lot going on. But I'm jumping right into the middle of a project in a few minutes. So I need to get up to speed quickly and show up strong. Luckily, research shows that Microsoft Copilot helps users get caught up on missed meetings nearly 4 times faster. So watch me get going with a little help from Copilot. All right, so I'm going to go up here to Copilot in Microsoft Teams. and I ask it to generate a recap from this last call with all the key decisions and action items. And right away, a summary appears. And suddenly, I'm adding my 2 cents to calls like I've been here all along. Hang on, I'm gonna go off mute. Good point, Jim. I imagine the faux leather will be easier to clean.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that as well. Actually, done that for a few days.
Amazing. So yeah, as Martin was kind of saying before when he's talking about the apps and things like that, obviously there's lots of different ways that Copilot can further help with the apps. And again, obviously, if you've got any further questions or anything from today, or you'd like some more information on Copilot, you can let us know. There is also a current discount on Copilot. So when you purchase more than 10 licenses, there is a discount. I know obviously 10 licenses is quite a lot. But again, if it's something that you guys are looking to roll out within your team, obviously looking to roll out some sort of AI, obviously Keybridge would kind of recommend Copilot is the way to go. And again, Martin is our Copilot expert. So you can always reach out to him or me directly to kind of get some more information on that. And again, Martin would be more than happy to do a demo on how Copilot can fully integrate with your systems and the process, things like that you guys have in place. So yeah, obviously where we kind of run over a little bit. I don't know if there's any questions in the Q&A section. I think we've got a question from Maria. Martin, this might be a question from you. For you, can you see the Q&A in the box, Martin?
I'm probably not looking in the right place, but no, I
Yeah,
can't.
it's related
Maybe.
to Loop within OneNote. I mean, Martin, you love OneNote. I think we all love OneNote, and I didn't actually know you could use Loop within OneNote, so that's really good to know, Maria.
To be honest, I've never used it in OneNote. What was the question? What was the?
Do you prefer to use it within OneNote or Loop separately? We also use Loop within Teams, so Loop does integrate very nicely into Teams as well, as does obviously lists, like I mentioned before. Microsoft are really gearing you towards everything within Teams.
And to how I use it, well, one of the things, the two main ways that we use it, we have kind of our Teams meetings, and we have some loops, like a table that says what everyone's doing that day, so that can be edited and that goes in our Teams. So we use it for that kind of stuff. I use it for when I'm trying to get lists together across Teams. And then if you're in Copilot, you can do editing pages. And if you're sort of interrogating Copilot and got a lot of stuff in there, you can put that into the loop. So I use it probably in there more than anything to gather together the endless reams of stuff that Copilot tells me, so I can keep that together. So they're the primary ways that I use it at the moment. But it can be used for a lot more. And now that you've mentioned it in OneNote, I don't really use it in there, but I'm going to investigate that. So thank you for that.
Amazing. Well, yeah, thank you all very much for joining the webinar. Again, any ideas, any feedback based on today would be great. And hopefully we'll see you on the next webinar.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.